So the discussion came up on a recent podcast about tailing redfish. And by the way, that was one of the most popular podcasts we've had recently. There's thousands of people plugged in on that. And that's a sign. That's a sign people are really maybe misinformed, but curious, maybe misinformed about, how to approach, what to throw, et cetera. And then I got several questions about what to throw. And to quote the man himself, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy that can help us with that. So Mark Nichols, DOA Lures, is joining us here for this quick visit. And I want to get into it because one of the things that we emphasize, and I know you know this, you get one, maybe two shots. First you got to appreciate the group, appreciate the tailing redfish, but you get one, maybe two shots. And the question that I got, Mark, a lot of times, they got their tails up. It's kind of hard to see the bait. Maybe it's little crabs. Maybe it's something else. I wanted you to take us through there in terms of like how you determining it. And I'm sure it's not just a guessing game, but how you determining what to throw in certain situations.
If I'm on true tailing redfish, first of all, I have to be so careful of not spooking the fish I don't see when I'm looking at the tailing redfish that I am looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So many times I've blown them out by not really paying attention, like right under me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come up on top of too many times where I feel like I've done that. But in general, if I've got a good tailing fish and it's, just flat as a pancake, I would have never said it 10 years ago because I never made it. But
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that the snake that I make is, I can move that thing an inch and the tail wiggles like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I can put a screw lock in that thing and fish it totally weedless. And, I'm going to hold it up here if I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since it's always in that coil, that little tail is always going to do that.
Yeah.
So if I've got something that's, say, just a 16th ounce little screw lock, sometimes I may even want to use that much because I'm not one to make noise.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the red. You start splashing, there's days when they're stupid and they'll turn around if you hit their tail and they eat. But we're talking about the somewhat more intelligent redfish.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to do something like this. I will also throw just virtually a nose hook jerkbait that I can also fish. It's got virtually slow dead drop.
Yeah.
Where I can keep it in a space enough to maybe just give it a light twitch.
Right.
If I start throwing jig heads and stuff, I've got to work it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have one hop where I can get in his face and hope it's right there. If I don't, I'm pulling it away from him.
Yeah. Let him chase it.
And yeah, exactly. So, and I like to let them chase it. I like to cast, I like if they're going to read the book that they're supposed to read, they're going to be facing somewhat toward me at a diagonal angle, so I can cast across their face. But sometimes they don't read that book, and so then you've got to be subtle, and I like to cast something real quiet just past them and let it fall in their face.
Yeah, and it is interesting. And by the way, for those that are unfamiliar, you should be. But Mark Nichols, one of the legendary fishermen in this country, and just caught just a million fish, and certainly, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, but certainly, you've seen your share of tailing schools. It is interesting. You just and for those just listening, not watching on YouTube here, you cut about 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches off that snake. Is that your first go? Is that your first bait that you throw on tailing redfish?
It has been recently. It's been successful. So that's what I've been throwing a good bit of. I fished with a young man that's got a YouTube channel about a week and a half ago up in Titusville. They've got a lot better redfish population than we did, and like so many people, we were all prepared, but the redfish weren't. we caught one tailing redfish, and made a decent cast at it and caught it. But we made I'd say we had maybe 4 shots, really truly good shots at them.
Yeah.
And, we were just having trouble getting them to eat anything.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going to my shrimp and fishing shallow banks, skipping it into the bank.
Right.
And I ended up catching 4 reds that way. But, all in all, if I got my tailing fish, I like to be as quiet as I can.
Mm-hmm.
That's critical. If I'm waiting, it's that much better. I tell everybody, if you happen to get lucky enough to catch one, get them out of where they were so that you got a chance of them settling down and catch
Mm-hmm.
another shot at them and that sort of thing. Other than that, I still, like I say, anything that I can stall,
Yeah.
or like with my shad tail, something I can catch their attention with, but I got to keep kind of moving it.
Yeah. What about when they're on baby crab?
If they're on baby crabs, I make a crab, I throw a crab, my crab, a good solid 2% of my time.
Well, see, but that's informative. That's educational.
Well, I made it. It was funny when I first made it. I thought I'm going to throw it in potholes,
Mm-hmm.
and have them come pick it up. And it wasn't worth a darn. And one day, I had a perfect cast of reds, and they did not eat it. And then I started skimming it on the surface like a small crab swim on the surface, and I got hooked 3 fish that way, creating a little wake right on the surface, swimming that way.
Yeah.
And, but since then, I fished with some buddies of mine that are poling the boat, and I've caught several, reds where I'm side casting them with the crab. And I'm usually casting it past them. I'm not hitting it up, in their head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as subtle as I can and let it fall with them, fall in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a real flat fall as well. So it just drops like that.
Right.
Lead in the belly, so the resistance is in the middle.
So what I'm hearing here, and we talked about it in different ways on the podcast, but I wanted to get you is give me your lineup of tailing redfish. It sounds as if you're going with the snake first. What is your lineup from there?
After that, I'm gonna get something I can throw a little bit further. Or sometimes I'll just nose hook the my 5.5 jerkbait because I can cast it a long ways.
Right.
And I can kind of skim it around on the surface until I see something and drop it on them. And so again, it's got that super slow drop where I can do a couple twitches and make it dart a little bit in his face without it going, 4 feet.
Right.
Dart and let it fall where it's still only less than 2 feet away from him.
Yeah. Well, before we get off of this topic, there's another couple of things I want to ask you about and talk to you about before we get out of here. But on tailing redfish, you were nodding your head when I said just appreciate them first. I mean, it's a rare occurrence. I don't know how often you're getting it down there right now. Are y'all getting as much wind as we are down here on the Texas Gulf Coast?
It blows. It just blows, and it blows more. I mean, we've lost any consistency in wind patterns anymore. It is what it is. And right now we've got the African dust, so it's not raining a lot, but in 3 days it's going to blow somewhere else. So then we'll get rain. And it used to be nice and calm. And, by 9 in the morning, you feel that sweat dropping down your crack of your ass. And these days, you wake up and it's blowing 14 miles an hour and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it's like I say, on the optimistic point, I like seeing our fisheries been getting stronger. Our fishery has always been strong, but seeing that trout fishery come back the way it can, we'll start seeing numbers of 30-inch fish again.
So you're seeing it all around. Obviously,
I'm seeing it in the Indian River Lagoon,
and that was big time.
Yeah, and that's basically goes up quite a ways. And as long as they don't dump that herbicide in the fresh water, we can be happy again. So
the
beauty of our water is that it's warm, therefore the fish can grow faster. It stays around longer. That's about it.
And one other thing that I love, when our listeners love it, is the story time with Mark, because you tell some great ones that you've lived a life. And lo and behold, I'm like, I wonder what he's been up to. I look at a post that you made, and I thought it was a gar, and you said it's an Aero Prima. So you have caught an Aero Prima.
Aeropaima.
Aeropaima.
Arapaima. And there's actually a guy that's down in South Florida that had a permit to raise them. And when from what I understand, the initial guy was going to sell them as a food fish.
Yeah.
That wasn't working. I was told they don't taste good. I could do it. But anyway, so he sold it to a guy that has a number of exotic game ranches in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got invited to come out there because they love throwing my bait buster.
Mm-hmm.
Hookup percentage is really, really good. And because of that, they like it. And the fish don't throw it because they're fishing a pinch barb.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, they've got fish. They've got fish from I think from 30 pounds to 150 pounds over there.
And yours that I saw was pushing 150, wasn't it?
That fish was big. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the guys that work there, could tell me what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And but they're very much like tarpon. They jump like tarpon. They strike with bad intentions. It's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, and they're, if you look them up, the paint job on them with this red. Is stunning. Really beautiful.
It is
stuff.
And the other thing is, when you're fishing down there, I got to tell you, I've been throwing the heck out of the snake. I think I told you last time, I've finally been catching some fish on it, some redfish on it. It's crazy. It works down here. The other thing is, right now, and this is the part I want to brag on DOA and what you do. Right now, the grass is thick down where I fish in Aransas Pass, Aransas Bay, Redfish Bay, etc. So that PT7, we're talking at least 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio of bringing it in with no grass on it. That PT7 has been absolute gold, man.
That thing has been growing quickly just lately. A lot of word of mouth is starting to seem like it grows. I don't do a lot of, with you guys, I advertise, but I don't advertise that much.
Mm-hmm.
Word of mouth has started really, thanks to you guys, but also just around, word of mouth getting. And I had some bass guys with me the other day that wanted to catch some snook, and we did. Mm-hmm. But I gave him one. I said, cast this thing. And he threw it like 20 feet over this dock.
Oh, it'll go. It'll go.
A long way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they took some back with them for bass fishing in Tennessee.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's got great, possibilities. If you got thick cover, you can throw that bait.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can tell you just from this past week, throwing that thing versus some other top waters, but it works. And then last thing, you got yourself a new, I guess, facility warehouse. Catch us up on that.
We actually bought what used to be it was called Okeechobee Fishing Headquarters. It was a tackle shop, a large one, and it also had a lot of boat rental bays. And we're right there on the lake. So yours truly has got some good friends over there, and we've already thrown the PT over there and have a ball, and they buzz the snake on the surface too.
Oh, and really?
I've never done that, but my buddy threw it, and it's like these fish were crunching it. I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's the neatest thing about fishing with good fishermen, other good fishermen. You go, I never thought of that.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it's really cool because they can kind of open your eyes up to something.
And so tell us about the facility and what's going on with DOA.
It's I'd say that the facility is doing phenomenal, considering that we're trying to get a bunch of orders out while we're also trying to get set up. Mm-hmm. But the good news in that respect is, if we had tried to draw it out, we would have been disappointed. Mm-hmm. Because we sort of did, and when we got all set up, we were so busy making stuff that we after working for a couple of weeks, you said, no, we need to do this. We need to move this over here so you can be more efficient with everything. But we've moved to a smaller space, but it's much better in the sense that we don't have nearly as much bulk stuff that takes time to get to. Mm-hmm. Now everything is much more compressed, and we've got the backup stuff in other parts of the building.
That's awesome.
It's an interesting, blah, blah, blah transition. As my buddy Greg says, that's too far from the fish.
It's too far from the fish. And I will say for listeners here, a lot of these companies, you said, make them, you guys make them. A lot of these companies with tariffs and everything else have been having a hard time getting their lures done. But yours, immediate, correct?
We spit them out.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep spitting them out. Yeah, we make them right here. And we're going to keep doing that. And we got 2 more machines we're going to have to put online. Good problem.
That's a real good problem. Well, man, appreciate your insight here with.
I'll be getting to y'all's neighborhood before too long this fall.
You have to. And oh, by the way, September 20th, the feeding frenzy. You came down last
Definitely.
year.
That could be a good excuse for me to stick around for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, man, because people enjoyed having you down there, chatting it up, looking at the DOA lures. We're gonna expect more than last year, which was 500, and a bunch of sponsors are stepping up. So, by the way,
people.
Oh yeah, last year was a distance contest. This year, between Captain Scott, Captain Caleb, and Captain Dean, it's accuracy. It's 10 feet.
That's a whole different subject.
Yes, so it is. 10 feet, 20 feet, and 30 feet trying to hit a bait bucket. Who you got? I don't know.
I think Dean cast a long distance a lot. But I don't know Dean that well. I haven't fished with him that much. I know Scott will pinpoint a lot of stuff.
There we go.
And I'm sure Caleb would too.
You got the young buck out there, but we can't let him win twice in a row.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that. I'm going to stay non-committal. I hate to pretend like I'm the government or something, but I'm not on that one.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you down in Aransas Pass on the September 20th, if not before.
I'll try to pre-fish.
And there you go, pre-fish. Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, John, always good to be seeing you guys.
All right.
Take it easy.